BMW made quite a big splash when they introduced their first all-electric SUV to America, the iX, back in 2022. And since then, it's been a surprisingly strong seller for the brand. So for 2026, it's time for the iX to get its first round of updates. We're talking about updated styling in the front, new wheel designs, a new battery pack with more power and range, and a new interior design that's part of the M Sport Appearance package. And today we're actually here in Spartanburg, South Carolina to preview the 2026 iX. Now that we're finally seeing the new version in the sheet metal, let's go ahead and take a detailed first look. Now, of course, when the iX first came out, it was a very controversial design that quite honestly took people a little bit of time to get used to. And in fact, when I first saw this vehicle in person, I wasn't quite the biggest fan of the design, but after a few years, it actually started to grow on me, kind of like their twin kidney grills, which have been getting bigger and bigger over the years. This model that we're showing you here is known as the mid option. This is the xDrive 60. It technically takes the place of the xDrive 50. There's a new base version called the xDrive 45, which is going to offer a lower price point. And then, of course, there's the top version, the M70, which technically has the powertrain from the newer i7 with the M70 package. You can see the styling of the vehicle gets a pretty small update. In fact, this vehicle was already one of the most distinctive vehicles on the market. This exterior color is new for 2025. It's called Arctic Race Blue Metallic. You can see the headlights have an updated look. There's the new BMW light signature with the kind of vertical element for the daytime running lights. You've got the full LED headlights. You have a new front fascia. This one that we're showing you has the new M Sport package, so it has a little bit larger air intake opening. It's got the black accents down here. In fact, it kind of has that same black look that we first saw on the refreshed X5 and X6. You can see the twin kidney grille also has a different texture. It still has the features there like the adaptive cruise control, the radar sensors, and it also has that self-healing portion where if you scratch the paint in the grille, it will basically heal itself as it sits in the bright sunlight, which is kind of a cool touch to keep, again, the grille looking good over the years. Now, underneath the hood, I can't talk about what's underneath there, or I can't show you guys what's underneath there for now, but BMW says with the launch of the new battery pack and the newer models, we have basically three different power figures. The xDrive 45 will offer a little over 400 horsepower. The xDrive 60, which is the model we're showing you here, should have around the 530 horsepower mark, while the M70 version should offer up to 650 horsepower when you're in boost mode, around 610 when you're just in the standard mode. And overall, it's definitely still one of the most powerful vehicles you're going to find in the segment. But if you want to follow me over to the side here, we can talk about the profile. Now, one of the beauties about the iX is the fact that this vehicle is basically the size of an X5 at 195 inches long with a 118-inch long wheelbase. This is pretty much the right size for a lot of American families. It's a two-row SUV, but again, it just offers just enough space without being too big on the outside. Now, this model here, having the M Sport package, has a new 23-inch designed wheel. So that's right, the wheels now go up to a 23-inch. BMW says you can take your pick between either a 21, a 22, or a 23. With the M Sport package, you get the blue painted brake calipers. There's also an M Sport Professional or Pro package that's standard on the M70 that comes with red painted calipers. And overall, these wheels, they have kind of like an aerodynamic shape to them. They certainly fill the wheel wells out nicely. This model also has some Goodyear Eagle F1 Supercar summer performance tires. Now, looking at the rest of the profile, it's a mid-cycle update, so it hasn't really changed. You still have these interesting door handles that you push in to open up. The charge port door is still over here. It still has the iX badge on this side over here. And then this model also comes with a panoramic glass roof, although the roof doesn't actually open to vent air, which would be nice, but again, it kind of lets you have a little bit more light in the vehicle. Now, looking at the back, you can see the taillights also have a slightly updated light signature. It's still a pretty distinctive look back here. The M Sport package gives you a more aggressive rear diffuser, as you can see, which certainly gives this car more of a sportier edge to it. There's the typical badging back here as well. And then there's an interesting twist here with the taillights. When you open up the cargo area, you can see the taillights. Obviously, they move out of the way, but you also have these separate lights here on the side, on both sides actually, that kind of reminds me of the Rolls-Royce Cullinan, which kind of shows you how, this has a lineage, or Rolls-Royce is part of the BMW umbrella. Now, in terms of the cargo space, it hasn't really changed back here, so we'll talk about the previous model. You should have around 35 cubic feet of total storage space, which is a pretty decent amount. There's also a good underfloor storage over here, and then if you want to fold down the second row seats, it expands the cargo to a whopping 78 cubic feet of space. That's actually near the top of the class, and again, it's one of the reasons why so many families are in love with the iX, because it gives you all that space on the inside and all that trunk space behind the rear hatch. Now, moving on to the interior, just like the outside, the changes here are pretty subtle, but they are effective. And of course, it's going to vary depending on if you guys go for the baser trim or the M Sport package. As I get in and shut the door has a really solid sounding thunk. And as you can see, this interior color looks fantastic with the Arctic Race Blue Metallic. This is kind of like their chestnut interior. It's like a nice deep mocha brownish interior, which looks great. Again, there is also the option to go with a full merino leather is available. This is the recycled Sensitech with the recycled materials, which is kind of going with the environmentally friendly theme. Here you can see the rest of this cabin basically still looks the same. We do have a new M Sport style steering wheel, as you can see, with its 3-spoke design, the M badging over here. It has a nice thick rim to it, so it feels a little bit sportier. This is good for, again, if you guys are planning to attack your favorite back roads. And then, of course, with the interior materials, the iX to me was actually one of my favorite BMWs in terms of luxury. There is a ton of upscale touches in here, from the leather, super supple leather on the door panels, to the crystal glass controls that you get with the executive package, to the switchgear that feels super high quality. And you can see here the glass controls carry over to the shifter and to the iDrive controller. And then all iXs come with their latest iDrive 8.5, although I shouldn't say latest. Technically, they have a 9.0 as well, but you basically have a 12.3-inch display here in the instrument panel and a 14.9-inch display in the center that also has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. A lot of the leather control or the leather materials also carry over onto the dash. You have this new kind of dark silver alloy trim that's accented on the dash vents along the door panels as well. And the visibility in this car is also really good because the dash sits nice and low, and it overall feels open, it feels airy. You have some storage over here, of course, along with a wireless phone charging pad, your 2 USB-C charging ports. It's kind of an open area here where you can kind of put bags or whatever you'd like to put over there. And then if you open this up, you can see there's a pretty decent center console with nice padded leather. And again, these seats, they are updated, of course, being that these are the M Sport specific seats. The seats themselves have more aggressive bolstering. They also did increase the actual thigh cushioning over here as well to kind of hold you in place a little bit nicer. These are exclusive to the M Sport seats. They're also heated and ventilated and adjust in like 18 different ways. So comfort and luxury, build quality, that's one of the strong suits about the iX, and that carries over for 2026. But let's go ahead and hop into the backseat area. I can show you guys what that space is like really quick. Now, once you get back here, you can see, being that this is only a 2-row vehicle, this is where BMW could focus a lot in delivering that rear seat space that people are looking for. You can see the seats back here are covered in the same beautiful leather with the quilting and the contrast stitching. It still feels extremely plush. And then when I get back here, you can see the legroom space is also plentiful. BMW says this vehicle has around 38 inches of legroom, which is actually a couple inches more than the X5. So it's one of the reasons why adults love to buy this vehicle to carry full-size adults. You can see this is a ton of space for me to spread out. The floor is also nice and flat back here. You have your rear seat air vents, you have heated rear seats, you got 4-zone climate control. There's 2 USB-C charging ports in each of the seat backs, along with a little, looks like a little mounting point if you guys want to put like a tablet back here. There's storage cubbies as well. And then if you fold this down, you can see there's an armrest that pops out and gives you 2 cup holders. And then these seats themselves, they also do fold down. If you want to fold them down, they're actually, that's not the fold down mechanism, but if you want to fold them down, it expands the cargo, like I said, to around 78 cubic feet. So overall, if you guys plan to use the iX as a family vehicle, this will certainly be one of the better options out there. So with just over 17,000 units sold in America in 2023, the iX has actually been improving significantly over the years, and it kind of really shows you how this vehicle was kind of like a hidden secret within the lineup. If you have basically been considering an X5, but you want to go fully electric, this is basically the car you want to go with. Now, obviously, if you guys are looking to get your hands on this vehicle, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. BMW says it'll show up in the second quarter, most likely, or either the end of the first quarter or second quarter of 2025. This will be a 2026 model, and they also weren't ready to talk about pricing just yet, but we can kind of speculate here. The current model starts at around $87,000 for the xDrive 50. You'll spend around $111,000 if you guys are looking at the M60. Now, obviously, with the new xDrive 45, the base model, I actually am expecting the iX to get a little bit cheaper. How much cheaper, we don't know. It'd be nice to see the starting price under $80,000, but we'll have to see. Obviously, this model here, with some of the options that it has, I probably expect this to be a little over $100,000. The M70 will probably cost in the just north of 115 grand, but we'll have to wait and see until this version finally shows up at your local BMW dealership sometime early next year. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on the fully revised 2026 BMW iX.